Welcome everybody, Dylan over here at the Caden Academy, and talk about procrastination. This is a video that I've been putting off, but I think it's a very super important video, and it's not a very sexy topic because sometimes people don't like to face reality. Maybe that's what you want to call it. But this video, I've been wanting to talk about the importance of cutting expenses. Yes, cutting expenses. I know that for some of you that makes you cringe, right? But as the video is titled, one of the fastest ways to boost your income is to start by within. Start by with what you have now, okay? And so everybody watching this video right now, whether you're working a job, whether you're a self-employed or whatever it is, a lot of times when I work with people in productivity coaching, and productivity coaching usually translate to increased income and increased revenue because you're being more productive, you're being more focused, you're following a disciplined schedule and regimen every single day, and you're increasing your income. But one of the first things that we generally work on is we take a deep dive into expenses so that we can give people that immediate revenue boost. And, for me, for 17 years of my life, I owned a lot of real estate. I owned multifamily real estate. And there's many ways to own multifamily property. And one of the things that so many people focus on, I just want to give you this as an example, is they're always constantly focused on increasing revenue, increasing income. How do I charge more rent? How do I do value add items? Like, how do I add more pet fees and maintenance fees and storage lockers and all this type of stuff? And so it's very income focused. How do I do more? And maybe for a lot of people watching this video, your natural thought is, I've got to get a raise. I've got to get a side hustle. I've got to get a second job or a third job. But I want you to stop and consider that you could likely give yourself a meaningful boost in income right now without having to do that. When I owned multifamily real estate, the first thing I focused on was reducing expenses to make more revenue. Okay? It's all about net income. What do you take home? What do you net at the end of the day? And in multifamily real estate, if I could cut $50,000 a year out of expenses on a property, that could translate to $2 to $3 million or more, depending on the market and current cap rates, and added value to that asset by not doing anything else to increase income, but reduce expenses. And people watching this video right now can do the same thing in your personal lives as well, okay? So you can give yourself a boost today. So I wrote down some notes on this topic as well. And the first video I shot, I'm having to do this a second time, which is terrible when that happens. But for whatever reason, the video software crashed. So I'm shooting this again. So that's how important it is, okay? So pay attention. But I did write down some notes on this, and the first thing that comes to mind is if you want to make more income today, the fastest way doesn't involve a side hustle, doesn't involve a new job, or even earning more money. Like I said earlier, it's simply this: sit down and go through your expenses. It's not sexy. Most people avoid it, but every successful person in business that sustains this long term, right? The businesses that have been around for decades, the people that have generational wealth, they go through every quarter, every 6 months, biannually or annually, and do an audit on their expenses. So I want to get you in the habit of that, okay? And why does it matter? Well, financial stress comes from not knowing where your money is going. If you're watching this video and you're in control of your own expenses, because sometimes spouses, sometimes business partners are, if that's the case, you probably should get involved. If that's not the case and it's you and yourself, know where your money is going. You can cut or renegotiate even a few things for instant cash flow. Imagine if you just found an extra $200 a month in expenses that you didn't need to expend. That's $2,400 a year if you do nothing else. I remember going through this exercise recently myself because I'm a coffee person. I love to go to the coffee shop every morning. And for me, it was more of a social activity, but I do love coffee. But I was spending $10 a day doing coffee. Well, $10 a day would save me, I think, I don't remember the math now, but it was close to $2,000 or something like that annually. And then if I invested that in a low risk option, just throw it in the stock market or something silly, right? I don't know. In a very short time, that 2,000 a year would turn into like $24,000. That's how big of an impact just saving $10 a day has. And somewhere on my YouTube channel, there's a video where I actually go into that, but I'm just giving that to you as an example. Okay. So, for example, like maybe you're spending $500 a month eating out, and you don't have to reduce 500 totally, but maybe you reduce it from 500 to 200, and you're saving $300 a month. Okay. So keep that in mind as well too. I'm going to give you guys now some practical steps to follow. And being a productivity coach, the first thing that comes to mind is for anything to happen, you have to schedule it. In fact, uh, if you're watching this video, hit pause right now, and whatever you use to schedule things, and if you don't use anything to schedule things, we're going to get you in the habit of using something to schedule things, but either write it down in a notebook, use your phone, a calendar, a Google Calendar, whatever it is, but block off at least 2 to 3 hours for you to actually sit down, take the time, and get into your expenses and go through what it is that we're discussing here. And the reason why I say allow yourself time is because if you cut that window too short and you just give yourself an hour, then a lot of people won't even start, or life gets in the way and you push it off. And so you want to do this from a relaxed approach, right? So this can fall into the alignment side of coaching, but you want to do it in a relaxed state. Allow yourself ample time to sit down and actually do this. And so put it on the calendar right now, hit pause on this video, and schedule it. For anything in our lives to happen, we have to schedule it. Next, in step number 2, is you've got to put together a list of everything that you're spending money on, all of your expenses. Pull up your bank accounts, your debit card statements, your credit card statements, your bank statements, whatever it is, all your bills. Get them written down, get them in one place. And if it were me, I would just list everything in Excel or Google Sheets. Google Sheets is free. There's other open source software that's free as well, but get it all listed out and begin to categorize it, because you might have your things that happen all every month, like your auto insurance, your health insurance, your electric. Those things are kind of fixed expenses, and we can go through and figure out how we can reduce those or renegotiate those. But then you're going to have your variable expenses, which might be a coffee out, or eating out, or other activities, and kind of group those into categories and see where we can make some reductions there. Okay, and step 3 in that process is you have to go through each one of those expenses and you have to decide what you're going to either keep, what you're going to reduce, or what you're going to eliminate. And for me, I like to think of the keep category as what's essential to life and my well-being, right? And so with the reduce category, you can go through and think about some things that you can make a reduction in expenses. Maybe you call up your insurance company, or you shop different insurance packages or cell phone packages or internet packages, those types of things. Maybe you're spending $500 a month on going out to eat, and you reduce that to $200 or $300 a month. And then the eliminate category, this is important because a lot of people say to themselves, well, if I eliminate it, I can't live without it. And if you're in a situation where every penny matters right now, eliminate doesn't have to be forever, right? You might find that it is forever. You might find to yourself, like me with coffee, I love making my own coffee, and I actually make myself the best. I've traveled all around the world having coffees, and I make myself the best cappuccino. Thank you to ChatGPT for that, by the way, because it recommended some wonderful beans for me to use for my cappuccino that fit my profile. Now I'm digressing, but you might find that you don't need it anymore, right? I don't need to go out anymore for that. And so eliminate doesn't have to be forever. It could just be a year or 2 or 3 when you get back on your feet. You can reintroduce it back in. So eliminate isn't forever, but it also can be forever, right? You might decide that, hey, I'm great not going out to eat anymore, or whatever the case might be. Okay. So that's step number 3. And then step number 4, look at your expenses and figure out what can you renegotiate. Call your service providers, your internet, your insurance, your phones, your gyms. You can ask for loyalty discounts, promos, lower pricing tiers. A lot of times when you go to hit cancel on a subscription, they'll say, are you sure? We'll give you 3 months free, or we'll give you, 10% off, or whatever it might be. And then take advantage of those things. 3 months free at, let's say you're paying $50 a month for something, that might bring the cost down to like $30 a month, if you factor in the 3 months that you're getting free. And so what can you renegotiate on those expenses? And then step number 5, consider any of your savings reinvesting them. And it doesn't have to be anything dramatic or very risky. Just don't let it vanish, right? Put the money towards something, either paying down one of your highest debts, your highest interest debts, like Dave Ramsey would teach, building savings, funding something that creates additional income, whether it be skills, tools, or investments or self-improvement. Figure out where you can reinvest those savings. And then number 4 is actually a mindset shift, right? So expense cleansing isn't about deprivation. It's not about depriving yourself of these things. It's about being responsible and creating and taking some of that financial pressure that so many people feel, giving yourself some breathing room, being the first person to give yourself a raise. If you've been at a job for a long time and you're looking for a raise, or you say, man, I'm not making enough, I need a side hustle, or you're an independent entrepreneur, this is your opportunity to treat yourself and to give yourself a raise, right? It's not about deprivation. It's about giving yourself some breathing room and improving your quality of life so that you can do more things. Okay. Most successful businesses run expense audits, like I had mentioned, on a quarterly basis, and your life should too. Okay. So don't just think about this. Take a moment now while you're watching this video, schedule it 2 to 3 hours in your calendar this week. Go through your expenses. I promise most people finding this, well, I can't promise anything, right? But generally speaking, most people watching this video are going to find money that you didn't know you had. And when you find that, share it with me. Put it in the comments. Say, hey, I found money I know I didn't have, or I freed up $200, $300, $400 a month, or whatever it might be. Okay. So comment in the comments below, what's one expense that you've been meaning to cut, but you haven't yet. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. I know when we talk about cutting expenses, it doesn't make a lot of people happy, but what will make you happy is that extra income. Okay. Now, I do have to say this. I forgot to say this at the beginning of the video. This is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial consultant. I am not giving you financial advice. I'm just exercising your brain, giving you some different things to think about, and giving you some educational material and content here. So hopefully that sparks an idea in somebody watching. I'd love to hear what reductions you're making and what progress you're making. And if you haven't yet, make sure you take a moment and head to cadenacademy.com. It's full of wonderful resources with our aligned productivity framework, which is clarity, execution, alignment, and energy. Sign up for our newsletter. You're going to get wonderful, valuable, actually valuable content every 5 to 7 days. And then you can also join our Inner Edge community there as well. And I am active in that community. It's a free community on Facebook of like-minded people and individuals who tend to follow me. And it's a place for me to help you grow, not just in business, but grow in clarity, grow in execution, grow in alignment, grow in energy. And that's a great way to interact with me. Get help from me if you need help, whatever it might be. Join the Inner Edge community. You can do that at Caden, C-A-D-E-N, CadenAcademy.com. We'll talk to y'all soon. Make it a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.